you're a grown man. Maybe 40, maybe 50, maybe 60. You've walked through storms, built a career, tasted loss, maybe even had your heart shattered more than once. And then one day, a young woman appears. Fresh, full of energy, both wild and mysterious. And the strangest part, she notices you. That glance, that attention, it's like an electric current. Suddenly you feel younger. Your heart races. Your blood runs hot. It feels sweet, intoxicating. But right at the moment of pleasure, many men begin their free fall. They start to change. The way they dress, the way they talk, even the rhythm of their lives, all adjusted to fit her. They think this will keep her attention, but in reality, they're shaving off the very edges of character that made them magnetic in the first place. And when that essence disappears, the attraction vanishes with it. Stoicism reminds us a man doesn't lose his allure because of age. He loses it when he abandons the discipline, calm, and perspective that only time can give. This video isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. About how to walk into a relationship with a younger woman while holding on to dignity, strength, and self-respect. And if you've ever seen a man fall into this trap or lived it yourself, share in the comments. Your story might be the mirror that saves someone else before it's too late. Mistake number 1. Don't youthify yourself to match her Bill, 52. A software engineer from Texas started dating Emily, 26, a marketing professional. On their first date at a cafe, Bill wore a simple checkered shirt. His voice was calm, his gaze steady. He told little stories about the days when the internet screeched during dial-up. Emily had never heard anyone talk about that era. She laughed, eyes glowing with curiosity. The generational gap made him fascinating. But just weeks later, that curiosity turned into disappointment. Bill started following TikTok trends. He ditched his shirts for oversized hoodies. He posted Instagram stories sipping bubble tea with captions like, "Living my best life," though he once said bubble tea was sickly sweet. He even bought neon sneakers, the kind his 19-year-old son looked at and groaned, "Dad, this ain't you." Bill's logic was simple. If I don't keep up, she'll lose interest. But from Emily's perspective, his original magnetism evaporated. Instead of a grounded, unique man, she now saw a clumsy imposter, a middle-aged man, cosplaying as her 20-year-old boyfriend. This is common. When an older man dates a younger woman, he often forgets what drew her in maturity, steadiness, perspective. He sees the age gap as weakness and tries to erase it. But in doing so, he erases the very thing that made him attractive. Young women don't need another peer trying to crash their world. They already have plenty of 20-something boyfriends to choose from. What intrigues them is the difference. How a man halfway through life views the world, how he sets his rhythm without asking permission, how he stays calm in storms that send younger men spinning. When you throw that away, just to prove you're still young, you're smashing your own pedestal. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you wish to be respected, do not pretend. Be yourself, even if that self displeases the crowd." A man doesn't lose value because of wrinkles. He loses value when he abandons the treasures of time, experience, discipline, composure. The tragedy, men like Bill rarely notice the slide. In their heads, every move makes sense. New clothes, new slang, late-night clubbing, neon selfies. But women smell insecurity faster than men think. Emily wasn't drawn to Bill because he was keeping up. She was drawn because he wasn't like the rest. When he strained to fit into her world, he became a shadow. How to avoid the trap? 1. Keep a core identity stone. Write down 3 things you will never change, no matter who enters your life. Your style, your morning routine, your reading habit. If you're trying something just because of her pause, ask, do I really want this? Or am I just afraid of losing her attention? If it's the latter, you're carving away yourself. 2. Invite her into your world, or don't chase hers. Bill didn't need to drink bubble tea and post stories. He could have taken Emily hiking at sunrise, something he already loved. If she found it intriguing, she'd join. If she mocked it, he'd know the worlds were never meant to merge. That's not lack of effort. That's clarity. 3. Remember the paradox of attraction. Young women aren't drawn to older men who blend in. They're drawn to the rare stability youth can't provide. The more you try to youthify yourself, the faster you vanish. The more you stand firm, the stronger your pull. Bill's story isn't rare, but it's tragic because so many men never realize what they're throwing away. Age isn't a burden, it's an asset. Don't sell that asset for a few cheap laughs on Instagram. A middle-aged man doesn't need neon sneakers to prove his magnetism. He just needs to sit firmly in his own chair like an oak tree that doesn't bend just to please the vines. Mistake number 2. Don't try to impress, lead. Frank, 47, runs a small construction company in Florida. When he met Chloe, 27, he thought, "This is my chance to prove I'm not just another aging guy." From that moment, every date with Chloe felt like a TED Talk. On their first dinner, Frank went on and on about his projects, restaurants, hotels, even million-dollar villas. He hammered in lines like, "I don't just build houses, I build futures." Chloe smiled politely, but inside she thought I ordered a salad, not a real estate lecture. On the second date, Frank showed up in a brand new suit car keys to his Mercedes laid out on the table. He bragged about luxury trips, VIP parties, important people he knew. Chloe nodded, but her eyes drifted to the dessert menu. While Frank believed he was scoring a 10 on impressiveness, Chloe only saw a tired man, desperate to prove he was worthy. This is a classic trap. Men think young women are drawn to resumes, money, and flashy power. But in reality, over-the-top efforts to impress do only one thing: they expose insecurity. The more you talk, the more you admit, "I don't believe you'll see my value, so I'm shouting it at you." Meanwhile, the truly magnetic man doesn't show off. He leads. He doesn't say, "I once went to Paris." He simply says, "There's an art exhibit this weekend. Come with me." He doesn't declare, "I eat at Michelin restaurants." He just says, "I've booked a table. 7 o'clock. Women don't need another salesman in their lives. They need a man who decides who's steady, who isn't obsessed with being validated. Seneca once said, "The wise man neither flaunts nor begs. He simply does what is necessary." That's the difference between trying to impress and quietly leading. Here's the psychology: when a man shows off, he's subconsciously asking for permission to be accepted. When he leads, he's extending an invitation, and that invitation is what makes women feel safe. Think of it like boarding a plane. Imagine the pilot bragging over the intercom, "I studied here. I have this many hours of flight time. I've survived X number of storms." Sounds grand, but all you really want is for him to fly the plane, not pitch his resume. Same goes for dating. Women don't need your list of achievements. They just need to feel you know where you're going. Tips to avoid this trap. Cut out "I used to." Instead of leaning on the past, invite her into the present. Don't say, "I've been to Italy 3 times. Say, "There's an incredible Italian place I want to take you to." Stay 70% silent. On dates, speak less than she does, but speak clearly. Ask questions, listen deeply. And when you do talk, make it lead somewhere tangible. Mir stadi stir. Keep a card unplayed. Don't unload your entire career, net worth, or life story up front. Let her discover it slowly. Value is like whiskey, meant to be sipped, not chugged. Frank didn't fail because he lacked accomplishments. He failed because he turned them into a burden, begging for recognition. If he had simply said, "There's a jazz concert tomorrow. I'm going. Want to join me?" Chloe might have seen a man. Instead, she saw a marketer pitching himself. In the end, what women remember isn't what you bragged about, but how they felt with you. A man who endlessly talks about himself makes her feel trapped in a lecture. A man who quietly leads makes her feel she's part of an experience. One feels like pressure. The other feels like attraction. And remember this, you don't need permission to be a man. Stop convincing. Stand firm, make the plan, walk forward. If she follows, that's her choice. If she doesn't, you still have your own path. Mistake number 3, don't paint the future too soon. Richard, 56, a lawyer in New York, was freshly divorced. At a friend's party, he met Megan, 29, a young designer. By their second date, Richard leaned in with sparkling eyes. I've always pictured buying a vacation home in Florida. Blue skies, golden beaches. You'll love it. Can you imagine us living there when we retire? Megan smiled politely, but inside she thought, I barely know what wine he prefers, let alone whether he snores. Why are we talking about retirement already? This is a common mistake older men make with younger women. They sprint ahead of time. Why? Partly the desire for stability. After loss and heartbreak, they crave an anchor. And partly fear that age is catching up, that this chance is the last one that she might leave for someone younger. So to lock it down, they dangle a glittering future, hoping she'll be swept along. But to women, it signals something else, insecurity. Instead of a man confident in the present, they see a man frantically building sandcastles of tomorrow just to soothe himself. Young women live in the continuous present work, friends, opportunities, experiences. They're not in a rush to talk retirement or children. Dragging them into a future narrative too early doesn't touch their heart, it spooks them. It's like boarding a train, and before the ride even begins, the conductor hands you a 30-year timeshare contract. Excitement dies on the spot. Epictetus warned, the greatest pain comes not from what is, but from clinging to what does not yet exist. A fresh relationship doesn't need castles in the clouds. It needs real action, a coffee, a weekend trip, consistent presence. Let me add some irony. An older man painting futures too soon is basically a timeshare salesman. You sit down, haven't even sipped your water, and he's already rolling out the PowerPoint picture, the perfect life 10 years from now. And the woman instantly thinks, oh no, he's trying to sell me a package deal, and I'm not buying. So how do you avoid this mistake? There are a few simple practical rules. Stay inside the 90-day frame. In the first 3 months, only say and do things that can be backed up with action now. Don't talk marriage or children. Let reality and time lay the foundation. Barrister, observe, don't predict. Pay attention to how she behaves in small situations, when the restaurant is slow, when she's stressed with work, when her friends need help. Those details reveal far more about the future than any promises. Trade visions for experiences. Don't say one day we'll go to Italy. Take her to a great Italian restaurant this week. Don't promise a long beach vacation someday. Invite her on a one-day getaway now. The most attractive future is the one she can touch today. Marco, ask present questions. Instead of, can you imagine us living together 10 years from now? Ask, how's your week been? Want to do something to blow off steam? A simple question, but it shows you're with her here and now, not dragging her into a script you've already written. Richard didn't lose points because he lacked money or status. He lost points because he revealed insecurity. If he had focused on one meaningful date, one real conversation, and quietly observed Megan through her actions, he would have let curiosity and attraction keep breathing. But by dumping a whole future onto the table, he turned fragile romance into a burden. A castle built on sand sparkles in imagination, but one wave of reality collapses it in seconds. And young women usually spot that faster than men think. Don't draw blueprints for a life no one's committed to yet. Stand firm in the present. Your magnetism isn't in your promises, it's in your consistency. And if the relationship deserves a future time, we'll build it for you. You don't need to sell it on the second date. Mistake number 4. Don't buy her attention. Earn her respect. Picture the all-too-familiar bar scene, a middle-aged man, belly soft, wallet fat, trying to keep pace with the young woman beside him. Every word from her lips gets greased with cash. She glances at a luxury bag, he orders it. She mentions Miami, he's already checking flights. This isn't a relationship. It's a subscription plan he pays, she smiles. The mistake isn't that he has money. The mistake is making money his only lifeline. The moment you believe, if I don't spend big, she'll leave, you've confessed that beyond cash, you bring nothing worth keeping. And women are sharper than you think. They can sense that desperation in your eyes, in every swipe of the card. Don't get it twisted, stinginess is suicide too. Women want to feel secure, and money is part of that. A man with a career and means has an advantage over a 23-year-old still juggling rent and utility bills. The problem isn't giving. The problem is how you give. Here's the difference. Generosity from strength. You take her to a great restaurant because you want to share an experience. You pay smoothly without expecting anything back. Nankid, generosity from fear. You buy her cars, shower her with gifts, foot every bill. Not from desire, but from terror that she'll leave. And women feel that instantly. The moment she senses you're giving from fear, not ease, the game changes. You're no longer a man, you're a wallet. And wallets can always be swapped for a newer, fatter one. Epictetus once said, "Whoever depends on what he owns becomes a slave to it." When you throw money to keep a woman by your side, you're not just buying fake presents. You're selling your freedom and self-respect. How to fix it? Spend on experiences, not empty luxury. A spontaneous road trip is worth more than a Chanel bag you hand over with trembling hands. Course, spot when you're being mined. If every conversation circles back to the next gift, if her laughter appears only when you swipe the card, if intimacy rises and falls with receipts, congratulations, you're being used. Either walk away or accept the sugar daddy contract and stop complaining. Draw the line. Occasional gifts, attractive. Constant gifting, a burden. If you're giving out of fear, not desire, stop. Money isn't the enemy, it's leverage. But misused, it becomes the noose around your own value. Women don't respect the wallet. They respect the man holding it, the man who gives when it's right, withholds when it's wise, and never trades dignity for borrowed affection. Mistake number 5. Don't unpack all your depth too soon. Some dates flow like a good glass of whiskey, warm, sharp, leaving a long aftertaste. Others feel like chugging the whole bottle in one go. The buzz comes fast, but no one wants a second round. Many older men make this mistake with younger women. They unload their entire vault too soon. 2 coffees in, and they're already pouring out the failed marriage, the cheating ex-wife, the sleepless nights, post-divorce, the painful bankruptcy, the crushing loneliness of kids who don't call anymore. In his mind, he thinks I'm being honest. I'm showing my true self. This is the strength of maturity. But in her mind, he just dumped a warehouse of baggage on me and I only ordered a latte. Women can admire depth. But if you dump all of it up front, they'll feel smothered, not intrigued. Depth isn't a diary to be skimmed in one afternoon. It's a forest. And a wise man doesn't lead a stranger deep into the woods just because she smiled at the gate. Your depth is treasure. But treasure thrown on the sidewalk for anyone to pick through worthless. What draws women in is not the oversharing, but the mystery. The question, what has he been through to have that calm look in his eyes? That curiosity pulls them deeper. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not lay your soul bare to others, as though their judgment sustains you. Your pain, your losses, your scars, those are sacred. They're reserved for someone who proves worthy through time, patience, and loyalty." The truth is, men who overshare aren't being authentic. They're being insecure, afraid of being seen as shallow, and they spill everything at once to shout, "See, I have depth too." But that rush kills attraction. An attractive man doesn't announce, "I've suffered, I've endured." He lets people sense it through how he lives. So how do you avoid turning a date into free therapy? Let silence work for you. When she asks, answer briefly. Hold something back. Leave her wanting to know more next time. Berbasked. Show through action, not speeches. Instead of narrating your heartbreaks, let your calm in today's challenges speak for you. Sharp women will notice. Check your motive. Before sharing something private, ask, am I saying this to connect or to seek pity? If it's the latter, shut up. Pity is never attractive. Must treat your depth like fine whiskey. Pour sparingly. Offer a taste. Let her earn the right to sip more. Women are drawn to mystery far more than confession. The man who hasn't said everything, but whose eyes hint at layers, that's the man they come back for. The one who dumps his whole emotional gut on the first date he leaves them full and done. Depth isn't for display, it's for keeping. A grown man doesn't shout, "Look at my scars." A grown man sits with his drink and lets the silence tell the story. Mistake number 6, don't play the jealous boy game. Nothing shrinks an older man faster than jealousy. You've weathered 4 or 5 decade storms and setbacks, and yet the moment your young woman laughs with a 28-year-old guy, you flush red. Breathe heavy glare like you're about to declare sanctions. To her, you look no different than a kid whose toy just got snatched. You think you're showing passion, but really you're exposing fear. I don't trust my own value. I'm scared of being replaced. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man trembling at another man's shadow. Women can tolerate a bit of playful jealousy from a 23-year-old boyfriend. From a grown man, it's suffocating. Instead of safety, she feels surveillance. Instead of confidence, she sees defense. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: if you are distressed by external things, it is not the things themselves, but your judgment of them. Jealousy works the same way. It doesn't come from her glance at another man, it comes from the insecurity inside you. The fix isn't to fake indifference. It's to believe in your own value. When she talks to another man, stay relaxed. When she mentions a colleague, listen calmly. Your composure itself sends the message, I don't need to guard you because I know you'll compare for yourself. And she will compare. The young guy might be fun, but he lacks depth. The colleague might be witty, but he lacks steadiness. She'll see it without you saying a word. A mature man doesn't flex with possessiveness. He stands like a mountain, and mountains don't get jealous of the wind. Mistake number 7, don't use your past or age to dominate. There's a kind of older man young women quietly hate, but rarely call out the self-appointed teacher. Every conversation feels like a compulsory class. Open his mouth and it's, I'm more experienced, I know more, just listen to me. After a while, she no longer sees a man. She sees a yellowed textbook. The problem isn't just the words. It's the hidden posture. I've lived 50 years, you're only 25, therefore I'm automatically right. That's not maturity. That's empty authority. It turns a relationship between 2 adults into a father-daughter play. And no young woman wants to date a second dad. The irony. These same men back in their 20s hated being steamrolled by older people. They pushed back. Let me live it. Let me fall. That's how I'll grow. And now they repeat the very thing they once despised, only this time, toward a woman they call lover. Young women don't need a stern teacher. They need a man strong enough to give them room to explore while still being present when needed. Your experience isn't a stick to beat them with. It's a lantern when they hit the dark. If what she wants to try harms no one and breaks nothing, why not be generous and let her learn? Sometimes the painful lesson is the only one that truly matures us. Stoic Epictetus put it plainly, no one learns merely by hearing. We learn by our own experience. If you're truly wise, you'll see experience isn't for domination, it's for companionship. So what do? Stop parading your past. If you've overcome hardship, let today's calm prove it. Don't twist it into, I suffered, therefore I'm right. Your past can inspire. It's not a license for tyranny. Change your phrasing. Not you have to listen to me, but I've been through this. I've learned a few things want to hear. An invitation beats a command. No. Put her in the driver's seat. Let her try ear and learn. You observe ready to help if needed. Like a good teacher, don't do the homework, teach the method. Tzmat Kurdu, remember age wisdom. Some people are naive at 50, some are sharp at 25. Don't mistake years lived for insight earned. Use age as a bludgeon, and love becomes a boot camp. Use age as a foundation for patience, and it becomes a shared journey of growth. That's the difference between being her launch pad or her prison. A mature man doesn't shout, I'm rich in experience. He lives with such composure that others quietly think he's weathered storms and he's still standing. Mistake number 8. Don't strain to prove prowess in bed. One of the quiet obsessions for older men with younger partners is the bed. Not the mahogany frame in a luxury condo, the arena in their head. The moment the relationship starts, an imaginary bell rings. Tonight is the Olympics, prove you're still a pro. That's the fatal error. The instant you treat sex like a fitness test, you turn yourself into a contestant. Contestants fear failing. Instead of enjoying, you perform counting beats, calculating, pushing yourself like a marathon exam. And her view, not a confident man, a red-faced lifter straining under a barbell. Reality check. She isn't sitting there with a clipboard, and there's no judge flashing 10-10. She wants connection. What's attractive isn't the number of rounds, it's presence, how you hold eye contact, how you breathe, how calmly you lead. That's real prowess. Older men trap themselves with a myth. She's young, so her needs are sky high. I must prove my youth. Think back at 20, you weren't exactly wise, either just a kid fumbling around. At 50, why play the virile college boy when you can bring what boys don't have: composure and control? Seneca said, true strength is not in the body, but in mastery of oneself. Master your mind, and the moment follows. When you're relaxed, confident, genuinely honoring her body, and loving her, deep connection shows up on its own. And that's what women remember, not speed or intensity. Treat sex like dance. A great dancer isn't the one flailing wildly, but the one who knows the beat, the pause, and how to make his partner feel radiant. The more you tense, the more you stumble. The more you ease, the better you lead. So what's the fix? Drop the performance mindset. This isn't the Champions League final. It's jazz. You listen, you improvise, you flow. Play with your mind, not your muscles. Focus on presence, on feeling. The body follows the mind. Connection beats performance. A well-timed touch carries more power than 1,000 forced moves. Don't fear honesty. If your body isn't 20 anymore, own it. The confidence to acknowledge limits is more attractive than straining and failing. The irony is sharp. The harder men try to prove, the less women believe. The more relaxed you are, the safer and more drawn she feels. You don't need to be an Olympic athlete. You need to be yourself, a grown man, savoring each moment, confident enough not to turn the bed into an exam hall. Mistake number 9. Don't ignore red flags. Just because she's beautiful, for centuries, men have stumbled into the same trap: beauty. A striking face, a body full of life, a smile that unsettles an entire room. It's legal narcotic. Even seasoned, successful men can find their hard-earned discipline melting away in front of a beautiful woman. Cracks in her character, sudden emotional outbursts, selfish games, all smoothed over by glossy paint. You tell yourself it's just mood swings. Not a big deal. And little by little, you look away. The fatal mistake is confusing fleeting beauty with lasting substance. Looks are gifts of time and genetics. Character is the result of choices, habits, and discipline. Smooth skin doesn't erase selfishness. Pretty eyes don't mask pettiness. A charming smile doesn't excuse immaturity. Yet most men still fold because our biology is wired to chase the shiny, even when it's just an illusion. The Stoics warned us long ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Physical beauty is fragile. Do not cling to it. It falls away like fading blossoms. What remains is the soul, the character." Yet how many men listen? Most choose the sweet illusion and pay with years wasted in draining relationships where the red flags were clear from day one. A wise man doesn't deny beauty he enjoys, it appreciates it. But he refuses to be blinded by it. He watches attitude, consistency, integrity. Because he knows skin will wrinkle, charm will fade, but character, good or rotten, becomes either a lifelong gift or a lifelong burden. Beauty may spark desire, but character decides if you can share a life. Don't let smooth skin make you blind. A stoic man chooses truth, however harsh, over sweet illusion. Illusion gives you a high for months. Truth shapes who you are for life. Conclusion: 9 mistakes. They sound many, but they all spring from one root: men's insecurity in the face of youth. The moment you strain to prove, spend to buy, or dominate to control, you've already confessed you don't believe in your own worth. And from that moment, your attraction collapses. Stoicism teaches, the self-mastered man is the strongest of all. The strength of a mature man isn't in muscles, wallets, or war stories. It's in steadiness. When you are calm, rooted in purpose, and refuse to let externals, even a beautiful young woman, unbalance you, that's when you become the man she can't look away from. Remember, she is young with countless options. But you have what her peers don't experience: composure, consistency. Don't throw it away for a few reckless minutes. You don't need to chase. You need to stand firm. If she's mature enough, she'll come to you. If not, smile and walk on your life. Neither begins nor ends with one woman. So which mistake do you think older men most often fall into when dating younger women? Have you seen it firsthand or lived it yourself? Share in the comments. Your story may be the wake-up call another man needs. And if you found this video useful, hit like, share, and subscribe. Let's build a community of men who live awake, steady, and worthy of themselves.